All right, everybody, welcome to NorCal Sports Network. And this is the same hat that Brock Purdy's dad wears. Chat loves it when Marty Lurie comes on.
Anytime you lose a game this time of year, when you can't go backwards, it's a problem.
All right, everybody, welcome on in to NorCal Sports Network. We got little game time action tonight. Pre-game, or post-game, I should say. Warriors-Lakers in Las Vegas. And joining the panel tonight, Frank. Big Frank Red.
What is up?
You guys have seen, some of you guys know Big Frank Red from Larry's post-game shows with the Warriors over the last couple years. And Frank's got his own channel that you guys got to go check out. It's called right there, In the Dungeon Show over there on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll hit that up again toward the end when we get more people coming on in, Frank, and get people to go on over there and subscribe to your stuff. But what'd you guys think tonight? I mean, Warriors are now, 4-0 or in preseason? And I know it's preseason, but they seem to be have a specific style of play they want to do this year. Little, I mean, similar, but I would say a little bit more amped up on the running and shooting the threes. Even Kuminga has been told, shoot the three if you're open. Don't hesitate. So what do you think, Frank?
I would agree with you. I got an inkling, though, about 2 months ago. Curry was talking about the team, and he says, I think I'm going to like coaching this team. And if you know anything about Steve Kerr, I mean, he's the ultimate let-it-fly guy, even going back to Arizona. You know, the Warriors are going to win probably somewhere between 45 and 50 games. But even beyond that, they're going to be fun to watch. And I think the NBA is happy because, as you spoke to, this team is going to put it up. I mean, you see the development in the individual players that I'm sure has other teams calling the Warriors about them. And I'm excited because, you know, the heartbeat of any team in any league are the young players and their development. And there are a plethora of guys on the Warriors team now that I think that fans in general are excited to watch play this season. Yeah,
I really believe so. Lou is our resident pessimist. He likes to take the under on things. He's right about the Giants. We both agreed there, but he's taken – we had a little talk the other night, Frank, and the other guys and I took the Warriors between 46 and 48 wins, kind of like you.
Right.
Lou is going to take the under this year, which is what, 43 and a half?
43 and a half.
Oh.
Tell us why,
Tell
Lou.
what the wager was, Dan and Ryan.
Okay, I can't remember what the wager was, to be honest.
No, we bet $44.
Well, that's right.
They have 44 wins. I have below 44. I think the Warriors have two problems, and I saw a lot of it tonight. Wiggins better get going because he's so far behind the game right now. It's scary, and I've been saying it from day one. I'm not a big Buddy Hield fan. Tonight he looked sloppy, like he thinks he has to do more than he really should on this team. And I know it's only preseason, so I don't really go crazy about it. But the Warriors are going to be the team this year that might score 170 a game, or they might score 70. They live way, way too much on the outside. And, you know, as you know, in the NBA, once the games start, they play a little more defense. I mean, it's going to be rough. We still don't really have a center. I mean, I don't know who's going to get first. Giants get a big bat, or the Warriors are actually going to get a center. But, you know, the team they have, they are very young. I agree. But, you know, these guys need time in the NBA to get used to the NBA, I guess is the best way to say it. You know, I'm just a little worried where, you know, you get these other teams that have youth experience that are just a little bit better, like an Oklahoma, a Houston. You know, and what are they going to do when they play a team that really plays tough defense like, you know, I'd say Boston? I'm worried about the Warriors. I think too much weight's on Steph's shoulders. And, I'd love to see what Dan said, where, Steph can maybe average 28, 30, 34.
Well, I think he's going to average. I got him at about 27.
Yeah, I just think it's a lot for one guy. Remember, one person doesn't win. And
right. I think
you need a full team.
I think they're number 2.
Worried.
I think their number 2 scorer is probably going to be, my guess would be Kuminga. Somewhere around 18. If he gets you 18, Steph gets you 27. And then, Moody's the guy I think is one of the X factors. They got a lot of guys on this team that.
Yeah, and I love Moody, but why haven't they played him in the last 3 years? I mean, the guy is a great plus minus. He
should have been playing more. He should have been playing more. But I think what this team does is it has a lot of replicative parts. Moody, Melton, Moody, Peyton, GP2. They all. I mean, Melton and Moody seem to me to be the most similar of the guys. And I don't know if there's enough playing time for both of them to get into the rhythm. I want to see Moody play close to 20 minutes a night. I really think he has shown he's one of the guys that not only can shoot from the outside, but he's not afraid to drive in and go right up to the hoop with the big guys and muscle it in. And there's not many guys in the Warriors that'll do that. And I don't know. I'd love to get your take on this, Frank, because you played college ball. You know the game probably better than just about anybody out there in the YouTube content world. What's your take on guys like Moody, Melton, Peyton, Pods? I mean, all kind of, two guards.
I think from a coaching standpoint, Steve Kerr has a big Kool-Aid smile on his face because now he has to go against his tendencies. There are certain players that Steve Kerr plays because they remind him of himself, and he likes those players. Now when he goes to practice, it's going to be about who's playing the best. And the guys that you named, they're going to fight it out every day in practice. And I don't care if you're playing 25 minutes or 15 minutes. You need to play well. And the Warriors have more backcourt depth than any team in the league. With regards to Buddy Hield, he could be traded by February. Historically, he's only played about 55 games per year. He's a street player. And the one thing about Kerr that I love, Kerr doesn't care about feelings. Kerr cares about winning. So he's not one of these coaches that is concerned about how their reaction is going to be with these players. It's going to come down to who's playing well. Also, the guys that you're talking about, they all have specific roles. If GP2 is healthy, he's one of the best defensive guards in the league. Milton is one of the best two-way guards in the league. You talk about a center, there'll be games which the Warriors won't have a center because they'll play Draymond. Like tonight, we were watching Draymond was on the court with Wiggins, with Kuminga, with Trace Jackson Davis. I could see a lineup where Kerr puts all 5 guards out there because he wants to score the basketball. And he sees an opportunity to play at his speed and at his style. And if the Warriors are up 15, 16 points on some of the best teams in the league, they have to guard the Warriors. And they're going to have a problem doing that. I don't think that the Warriors are a championship caliber team. I'm not saying that. But I tell you what, they're going to be fun. And they're probably going to be top 3, top 5 in scoring. And yes. I think middle of the pack in defense because they're not going to turn the ball over. They got like 4 point guards. Kyle Anderson tonight showed that he could effectively run the Warriors offense at 6'8", 6'9". So I'm excited about this team. I really am.
One of the things I said the other night, Frank, and you coached, to me, what this is, you kind of alluded to it, and it's similar to what I said the other night. These guys are going to be fighting for minutes, and so you're going to see guys go out there and give it their all every second they're on the court, because if they are caught dogging it, they could find themselves 2-3 games on DNPs.
Absolutely.
And
They will.
My idea, what was the team? Was it Arkansas back in Richardson's day where he just pressed
48 feet of madness?
Yeah, just all over. I would love to see that played in the NBA with guys that are just, 5 minutes, just go crazy. Next hockey line, come in, bring in the next 5. You got 12 deep on this team, maybe 13 when you include the kid
Waters, Licky Waters.
Waters, yeah. He's probably, I think the guy that sees the least playing time on this team, this is the way I mapped it out the other night, is I think it might be Looney.
Well, I'll tell you what, I saw Looney tonight. I like Slim Looney.
Slim Looney, though, looks good, though.
He looked pretty damn good tonight.
Yeah, he does. He does look good.
And he knows how to foul. He knows how to play effective post defense, and he knows how to foul. And a lot of times people think that size is the all in. And the bottom line is I'll take somebody who's 6'8" and tough over somebody who's 7 foot and soft. Box people out. Draymond Green is a Hall of Famer because he's tougher than 90% of the players in the league. He's not a big guy, but he's tough. When he boxes you out, you're going to feel his elbow across your surplex. And that's the mentality that I think they want to develop with the Warriors, because they're not going to be the biggest team, but they can be one of the toughest teams. I think they can be.
Yeah, I definitely think they're going to be like you say, Looney's their tough guy. And I really like, TJD. I think he's defensively, I liked him last year, and he looks better to me this year. He's a shot blocker, and he makes you adjust your shot. He's the one guy that, he's got great hops, and he's got incredible length, those arms, and he times his jumps. He doesn't, and he's going to do nothing but get better. This is a guy, that has played 4 years of college at Indiana. Now he's got a year under his belt in the NBA. So he's an older second-year guy in the league, and I like him. They don't have the traditional banger, when they go up against the Embiids and the, name the
Jokic,
Jokic, Embiid, even Minnesota with Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
And now Cat's where in New York. So how'd you like that trade? What'd you think of that, being a Knicks guy growing up? What'd you think of the Cat?
I love Dante DiVincenzo. So it really hurt my heart watching him walk out the door. And the cool thing was, you even saw the other night how personal and how emotional it was for Dante, because he felt betrayed, and he was betrayed. And, if I was the Knicks, I would have made the same trade, because Minnesota didn't want Josh. They wanted Dante DiVincenzo, so he had to be a part of that deal. From a Knicks perspective, it's gold. The Knicks should send Brad Stevens a consulting fee, because essentially what they did was copy Boston's playbook. Cat is going to play the role of Porzingis. They got two-way forwards. They got a dominant point guard, and they could put anybody at two guard, I think, get production. This is the best Knicks team that we've had in 20 years. It really is. They're good.
Yeah, I got them going number 2 seed. When we picked seeds, I got Boston won the next 2 this year in the Eastern Conference. I think the West is so loaded. The East, the East a couple years ago kind of had a pull there, but now the West is going to be tough just to get into the play-in.
It's a juggernaut.
Somebody in California is either the Warriors, Lakers, or Clippers is not going to make the play-in.
Could be all three.
Could be, but I think at least one of those three is knocked out. If you look at the West, you got to think Oklahoma City, Minnesota, and Denver, whatever order you pick them in. To me, those are the top 3. And then from there, from 4 to 10, it's like just a giant cluster. You could pick you could have from 4 to 10 just about anybody.
I think Sack better be number 4, or Mike Brown's gonna be in trouble. I've said this on my show. They gave Mike Brown a 3-year extension, so he has financial security for life. All right, at this point, he should be already rich. But anyway, if he doesn't win an opening round series, he's getting fired. I mean, I believe that, because you look at that roster. That roster is so talented. Now, whether or not they can gel together, or they can play intelligent basketball, or they tune him out, all of those things matter. But you have to give Monty McNair a lot of credit. As a general manager, he's put together a really nice roster for Sacramento.
Yeah,
They got a good team.
yeah. Let me get to this super chat here from Chardal. Oops, there it is. Chardal says he's going to the Warriors open practice tomorrow. All right, Chardal. Get some video on your phone.
I love it.
Chardal, send us in some stuff. Get a player interview.
Get an interview, Chardal. $1.99. Thank you, Chardal, for that. Appreciate that. And
appreciate the support, Chardal.
Let's see. Dan,
let me say this. I'm so proud of you, dude. I mean, you built a nice channel, man. I mean, I tune in every now and then to get my baseball fix and what's up on the Giants. I don't know if anybody covers the Giants like you guys do. You guys do the best job.
We're definitely the spot
Frank.
for the Giants. We're trying to grow our Warriors and our 49ers fan base right now, and you know, we appreciate having you on. But Dan's definitely the spot to go for the Giants. That's how I found Dan too. He's the best for baseball.
Well, it's kind of my wheelhouse, but I love basketball and football and played both, but I got better coaching in baseball as a young kid, and it just stuck with me as a 9-year-old. I got drafted into the majors. I wasn't ready to play in the majors. I wasn't good enough, but the coach had a system kind of like John Wooden. He used to get guys and he would draft 3 or 4 9-year-olds. And by the time we were all 11, we were all, we were kind of groomed to play. And, some of us got to play a little bit at 10, but 9-year-old, we just sat the bench, but we learned so much. We just soaked it up and watched these 12-year-olds, 11 and 12-year-olds teach us. We looked up to them. And then by the time we were 11 and 12, we were the, big man on campus, so to speak. And we dominated. It was a system like no other. You don't see it in Little League because most Little League coaches, they coach their kids and then they move on, right? This guy didn't have any sons, and he coached the one team in the Little League majors for like 30 plus years.
Wow.
And he's in the world. He's in the Williamsport Hall of Fame, just for his coaching. But I got so much drilled into me that I have the fundamentals. Now, I was around basketball coaches and football, but
we're basketball experts. We're basketball experts too. We started out with the baseball because Dan's previous co-hosts only really liked to do baseball, but Dan's his second.
My goal when I started this channel was to cover. That's why I called it NorCal Sports Network. It was to cover.
Sir.
Yeah, and my previous co-host, we ended up just kind of doing a lot of baseball, and but now we're covering it all, and I love to have experts like you on, Frank, because the game as good as anybody, and my goal this Warrior season is have guys like yourself on, get some other coaches that my brother has connections with, maybe even get some of the if we can. He coached all the Rick Barry's sons. Maybe we can get Brent on here. I know he's working with San Antonio, but maybe we can get Brent or Scooter or even John. My brother knows those guys well, and get their inside view of what the NBA is like. So that's the goal. We're growing it slowly but surely, but we're almost to 2,500 members. I can't believe it.
Isn't that awesome? That's awesome.
Yeah, we're like 16 short of 2,500, and so we're
and while we're at it, real quick, hit the like and subscribe.
Yeah, hit that like and subscribe as it scrolls across the bottom. We would really appreciate it. I know a lot of people are watching on Twitter as well. So those of you on Twitter,
Facebook,
Apple Podcast, Facebook, Spotify, yeah, come over into YouTube and check us out. Oh, by the way, one of the things we forgot to do, what we usually do at the beginning of the show, I want to thank our sponsor, Chapman Law Group out of Marin. If anyone needs any kind of legal matters, give Chapman Law Group a call. They specialize in all legal matters except family law. So give Chapman Law Group a call at 415-613-9483. And Ryan, if we could just get that to scroll along the bottom, we'll, guys, the bottom of the screen, Chapman Law Group. Check them out. Give them a call if you have any legal needs. They're licensed in all of the state of California. And we thank Chapman Law Group for being a sponsor of NorCal Sports Network. All right. So, Frank, one of the questions I have for you is, with this loaded West, is it critical that the Warriors in their first 20 games are at least 12-8?
I would say 12-8 is a good number. Based on what I've seen in the preseason, it wouldn't surprise me if they're a little bit better than that.
I agree.
I think worst case scenario is 500, but Stephen Curry has shown that he can play at a very high level as long as he's not playing beyond, say, 32, 33 minutes a game. And with the backcourt depth that they have now, a lot of the playmaking responsibility he's not going to have. You even saw it tonight. Milton, I don't think Milton played tonight. DeAnthony Milton's going to handle the basketball. And when we haven't mentioned Pods, I mean, he's going to get countless opportunities because he's a tough kid and Kerr loves him. Kerr would adopt him if he could. So he's going to get his opportunities, but that helps Stephen Curry. So I think Lou is right in that some nights when the Warriors don't shoot well, they're going to get their butts kicked. And that's okay because generally speaking, they're smarter than most teams. They're still the smartest team in the NBA. And I think that equates to maybe 3 to 4 points a game. So after 20 games, 12-8 seems about right. It wouldn't surprise me if they were 13-7.
Yeah, okay. I think we'll be a little better. The early season schedule's a little bit easy. And honestly, this kind of reminds me a little bit, and Frank, you and Dan, you might remember a little bit more because Lou's on the pessimist side, so he wouldn't like this start of the season.
I'm not a homer. I speak reality.
In 2021, 2022, we started out 20-2 without Klay. And I hate to say it, but if you guys look what Klay's doing on the Mavs right now in preseason, and I know it's the preseason, not going to hold too much on it, but it's pretty similar to what he was doing with us. He's shooting a lot of bricks. And I love Klay Thompson, but right now I think we're kind of seeing that fall off from the injuries. I think it was a couple years short because he did, the medical industry is a little different. I think they provided, a lot to him, and he got some years out of his career that he shouldn't, but I think we're kind of starting to see the fall off of Klay Thompson. And I think in a way, the Warriors, I think, kind of saw that. And I think his attitude is really bad. I don't know if you guys saw the game yesterday and today, the last couple of games from the Mavs, but he's like, of his last 13. And so I think the Warriors, if we start out like we did that year without Klay, and Wiggins and Kuminga can provide some of that secondary scoring, I actually don't think we're going to start off too bad. I actually think having Klay gone is going to provide a lot of motivation to Draymond. I don't think it's going to provide any extra motivation to Steph unless we're playing the Mavericks. I think he's super motivated all the time, but Draymond's talked about it a lot. I think he's really motivated this season. I think that, that reporter, I don't know if you saw that, Frank, but who was going off on him and they got kind of into it. Yeah, I think he's ready this season. And I think, last season, if he doesn't get suspended for 30 plus games, I think we win a couple more games. We're the 6th seed, and I think we win 50 games. I think we're going to have a good season this year. I think people are kind of doubting the Warriors, and I think that's good. I think when people are, underestimating us, that seems to have been better since KD has left.
You're definitely better off being underestimated because you don't want people, when they won it in 22, people were ready for him in 23.
Yep.
And this feels a little bit more like the 22 season. People aren't expecting a lot from him, as the odds makers have him at 43.5 as the over.
We were lower than that.
Back then, yeah. But right now, 43.5. If you win 43-44, you're not getting into the top 10 in the West. You're probably going to need. I mean, the Warriors last year were what, 9?
46 wins, and they were the 10th seed.
Were they the 10th or the 9th?
We were the 10th seed. That's why we had to play
46 wins. Yeah. So
you need to win 40, 50 games.
I mean, Denver's going to give a couple of games back, and the Clippers are not going to make the playoffs. So
I'm with you, Frank. I said the same thing.
They'll be fine. The Warriors will be fine. You know what? I mean, I'm going to say this about Klay. Klay is pretty emotional, and I get it. It's like you don't walk away from a girlfriend that you love and most of the time just move on. You might move on physically, but emotionally, it takes some time. And I think Klay is kind of dealing with that. Also, the Warriors made Klay look good because they ran an offense that's predicated on passing and shooting and fundamentals. Klay looks a little sloppy now in his fundamentals, and some of that is because Dallas is less disciplined than the Warriors. So he's in a situation where he has to create shots. And Klay has, as you guys have alluded to, over the past couple of years, he started to take poor shots. And when he takes poor shots, he looks really bad. I think ultimately he's going to figure it out and be a strong contributor for Dallas. But they are the antithesis of what the Warriors were, or the Warriors are, in terms of how they're structured. So that's why he looks bad. But I think he's going to get his rhythm. He's going to be fine. But the Warriors definitely benefited from him not being there now. There's no doubt about it.
Frank, do you think he needs to be more like Ray Allen at the end of his career, where he just kind of, corner shot, just wait, catch and shoot more than.
I don't like him standing in the corner like I see him with Dallas. I don't. I like him moving. I don't see a lot of movement in that offense.
He needs to get off some screens like Reggie. He needs to play more like Reggie, Dan, not Ray. He needs to play like Reggie.
I mean that bothers me. Just seeing him in the corner.
Frank, what do you think about him playing? What do you think about him playing like Reggie in his last career, like the last couple seasons of his career, where he's just coming off of screens? I think that could be good for him.
I think it's great, but Reggie was never injured. You know what I'm saying? So we really don't know to what extent Klay's physicality is hampering his slow start or his confidence. We don't know. I mean, I just know that he can still shoot. I mean, you watch.
It's kind of a weird fit to me because Kyrie and Luka are ball dominant players, and so when the ball's in their hand and there's a 24-second shot clock,
exactly,
it's not going to move around too much.
I agree,
and that's the issue. Plus, Dallas doesn't get into their offense a lot until 14 seconds. 12 seconds in the shot clock. They start,
they're too late in the shot clock. They throw a lot of, they call them grenades.
Yeah, and it's called, whether you call it one-on-one ball or hero ball, whatever you want to call it. It's, to me, it's something that we used to get on Westbrook, and Harden when they were with Houston.
It was Griffin's talking about it.
You just get this, and when you come to the playoffs, that ball's much easier to beat that style of a team. The Warriors are a team that's built on, like I say, passing, assist. I mean, they pretty much, since Steve Kerr's been with the Warriors, been pretty much averaging close to 30 assists a game.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's, it's kind of like, Kyle Shanahan, he wants to get 30 rushes. He wants 30 rushes. Steve Kerr wants 30 assists. You get 30 assists, you're going to win most of those games. And that's why, with Klay, the last few years, when he was on the court, a lot of times, he would just take the ball and hoist it instead of play Steve's offense. And, the Warriors have always had trouble when they don't move the ball. When they get into just just shooting. I mean, I've seen Kerr, my brother used to do this as a coach, and I'm sure you did it too, Frank. No shots allowed, just pass. It was just a passing practice. You're just practicing, and nobody shoots. It's just, you're just going to run and run and run for.
It's called continuity.
Yeah.
I mean, you're working on your body movement. You're making sure your shoulders are square. You're envisioning defensive players overplaying so you can naturally cut to the basket with your shoulders square to score easy buckets. I saw it several times tonight. I mean, Moody got a couple of baskets. I'm a Klay fan, so I'm going to root for him. And I think that he can be successful, but he got to get his fundamentals together. Lou, what do you think? I'm interested in hearing your take on.
I think he's in a brand new system. Give him a little time. Compared to the Warriors, where Steph was really the main focus, he's now going. First of all, he's got a different coach in Kidd. He's now going where there's two main offensive guys. He's now going to be, instead of the second choice, he's going to be maybe third or fourth. I think you got to give him time. The other thing, too, is you would know this, Frank, is when you play with a new team, especially during preseason, you're trying new things out. You're adapting to them, and they're adapting to you. So I still think it's way too early. The season hasn't started yet. He hasn't probably played a real game preseason with the four other starters, if that's his role. Or if he's coming off the bench, he just has to adapt to that. So give him a little time. He's a professional. He's still a great shooter. Yeah, he might not be the player he was, but I don't think Dallas got a 3-year contract because they don't believe in him. And I don't think he believes in himself. You guys got to remember, and we talk about the past, he still had these incredible shooting things. And once I wouldn't be surprised if he has one of those quarters again, especially there where he's not the main focus. And, it's just going to take time. He's had 4 preseason games. Yeah, he's looked bad. But
a big quarter now for Klay.
Lou, it goes farther back than that, though.
20.
What?
I don't think he's ever going to shoot what he did that night. But
no, I'm not talking about that. But he'll have one of those. He'll have one of those quarters.
He might have a quarter where he hits 5 threes. Yeah.
Lou, it goes.
That's all I'm saying. It's just give him a little time. It's preseason.
Yeah,
if you saw it tonight, like against the Lakers played. It was so bad. They all talked about LeBron's son, whatever his name is. They were cheering. The game doesn't mean anything. LeBron played half of a game. I was surprised and got a little bit worried when Steph, up 18, is playing in the fourth quarter when the game means nothing. But, he's laughing. He was sort of laughing because they were rooting for James Kidd. And when they made a layup, everybody stood up. It's preseason for a reason. Everyone's getting their thing. If we're 5 or 6 games in and then Klay's playing bad, then I think we might have a problem. But it's preseason. These guys go maybe 75%. They're trying not to get injured. The games don't mean anything. Everyone just relax. You got to remember, he's playing with somebody who's younger and maybe more dramatic, not a great shooter.
Oh, who put that up?
With Luke, who is maybe
my
one
producer.
of the.
What? Come, hey, we can't put that up on NorCal Sports Network. Come on, I'm a Klay Thompson fan. Clay's my guy.
I gotta get my takeout.
All right, well, get that off.
Give the guy a chance. He's playing with one of the greatest players that we've probably seen in the last 10 years. He'll adapt to him, and we'll see at the end of the year. Just give him a chance. It's been 4 preseason games, guys.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's not giving him a chance. But here's the thing, Lou. He's not helping himself taking bad shots.
I agree there.
It's one thing if you take good shots and you miss. That's no problem. He's a pure shooter. But I saw him take a 3-point shot, I think last night or night before, falling back. And
it was last night.
It was like Ryan said, he's getting a bunch of grenades, and he thinks that he needs to shoot. He doesn't. He needs to frame up, assess the defense, drive to the basket, and Dallas, J. Kidd, everybody loves J. Kidd. But if you got Klay Thompson on your team, you got to adjust your offense. As you said, Lou, you got 2 dominant ball-handling players in Luka and Kyrie. that's not conducive to the other players being successful.
Yep.
They're catching the ball with practically no time left on the shot clock.
Yep.
And they're not utilizing the entire court. Most of the time they're in the corner. I don't like that.
Yeah. The average shot clock for the Mavericks players on an assist is 3.1 seconds.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, they take it down too much. Yeah.
So just real quick,
last year, didn't Dallas go to the Western Finals?
No, they went to the NBA Finals.
NBA Finals.
Oh, I'm sorry, the NBA Finals. So I guess this team Klay joined has no chance to do anything this year.
No, but here's the deal, though. They got embarrassed in the finals, though.
They got
embarrassed.
Made it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, they did make it, but the expectation
like the
is
Suns.
They're going to be better. The reason why they got embarrassed is because they didn't play team basketball, and they played against a team that's top 5 in defense. So,
I agree with the Celtics, but
Frank knows ball.
Well, let me get to Griffin's comment. I like 2 of his comments here. I want to get to these. He says
Griffin's
the
Warriors
great.
have been still pushing their magic number of 22 turnovers a night this preseason. If they want to be a top 5 seed, they're going to have to be much closer to 15 turnovers than 20.
I completely
agree. That has been the Warriors' bugaboo for the several years now. They were able to overcome it, the years when they had KD, obviously Steph and Klay in his prime, because they could just turn it over. It didn't matter. They were going to come back down and score. They were, if they didn't turn it over, they usually scored. So
it's always been a bad habit, though.
It is, and it's a lot of it.
I think it's a lot of it's off of Steph. Like I
was just gonna say, a lot of it is Steph. He's careless.
For me, Steph's a top 10 player all the time, but he loves to be really, really fun when he's playing the game, and with that comes being careless with the ball, because he'll just do these crazy passes all the time.
Well, the one thing you can't do, you can get away with it in college to an extent, but you cannot
he still
get
gets away with it now.
You can't get away with one-handed passes very much in the NBA. The players are too quick and they're too long. They're too. That's why he turns it over a lot.
But that's the problem. Is he kind of does, because he I think it's like he's in that middle ground where he's like not a Westbrook or some of these other point guards where they have like 6 turnovers, but he averages consistently like 3.5.
Yeah.
Well, look, this is an opportunity for Curry to coach him, though.
Yep.
And that's on the coach. As great as Stephen Curry is, there are some outcomes from his play. Stephen has the worst turnovers post 33 minutes when he's really tired, and those one-hand passes start to flail and they turn into turnovers. So what I saw tonight from him after not playing in the last game is I saw a vibrant player who I think
energized.
Yeah. And I think less is more with Stephen Curry. We talk about 27 points a game. I would love to see him score 25 points a game. And like you said, average under 3 turnovers a game and maybe average 6 or 7 assists if he can do that, because turnovers are a problem, and they are not a characteristic of a high-achieving team. And I would agree. 14, 15 turnovers a night is acceptable when you are averaging 30 assists a night. That's a 2-to-1 ratio. You want to be a little bit better than that, but 2-to-1 is respectable.
Right. What did you think about Moody tonight?
I love him. I love what I see from him. And I see him playing with a exuberance and an attitude that says, I'm good enough to be here. I shouldn't be concerned if I get my shot. I'm going to give you one example of what he did that really impressed me. Third or fourth quarter, Moody throws the ball to the mid-post, right? You throw the ball to the mid-post, you make a cut past the passer towards the baseline. Now, that's only a dummy cut, because eventually you're going to come back up to the elbow to get the pass back from the person who you passed the ball to. He did that, and then he made one sharp dribble to the left, mid-range, up, fluidity, basket, good. You know what that is? That was a Kobe Bryant staple. And Moody did it to perfection. When he made that move, I was like, holy crap. That's the ghost of Kobe Bryant, that particular move. So He's a different player. You see the work that he's put in, and I just need him to be better defensively. He's okay defensively, but I need him to be dominant defensively because if he's not shooting well, Kerr will keep him on the court. If he's not playing well defensively and he's not shooting well, Kerr's going to take him out, and that's the problem.
100%. I think the problem with Moody, and he talked about it in his interview, like the preseason interview, or like I don't know what exactly they call it, but after the offseason, Frank, how they do all those interviews with the players, right? So anyways, Moody talked about how he did this with this coach. He did this lateral movement training, and this guy I really like on YouTube, who covers mostly Warriors athletic alchemy. He basically, I don't know if you've ever seen him. He's been talking about the last couple of seasons how if Moody can start moving laterally a little better and defend a little better, he'll get on the court and be able to get those shots up he needs. Because in my opinion, and he talks about it a lot, and he's right, is that Moody's kind of a volume shooter in the way Klay is, that he needs to get up a decent amount of shots and needs to be in the game to really show his impact. He's not like a Kuminga who can get in the game 10 minutes, draw 4 fouls, get to the line a bunch of times. He actually this year, I don't know if you've noticed, Frank, but he's been getting in the line a lot, and I'd like to see Moody. So I feel like Moody's been in the gym. I feel like Kuminga, I don't know if you've seen it, but he's been shooting a lot of threes. And also,
I watch everything. I watch everything.
Yeah, and they've been looking good. And I think, in my opinion, I think Moody can take Moody and the combination of Buddy Hield, I think, can kind of take that Klay role.
I'll say this when it comes to Moody, he is a guy, like you said, Frank, he's put a lot into his game. He's got a great attitude. He's very humble. He's a heck of a kid. I really love this kid. I hope Kerr doesn't discourage him and he collects DNPs for 3-4 straight games and then comes in and performs well and then it's back on the bench, because there's nothing more discouraging to a young guy than, going out there, showing what you can do, and then somehow you're back on the bench because Kerr didn't like the matchups. This team is going to win a lot of games when they're hot, and they're going to lose the games when they're not, because the way they play, the way I'm watching when they're playing, if the shots are falling and they get up on and get a lead, it can help them. But if they're getting, the shots aren't falling, and that's going to happen. That's going to happen. There's going to be 20 to 30 nights a year that they're just going to shoot 30% or less from 3 as a team, and they're going to get blown out.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I don't think Kerr is overly concerned about that. I think what Kerr is concerned about is bad shots and lack of mental preparedness. As long as they play basketball the right way, I think those habits are going to help them in their darkest moments when they are playing as bigger teams and they're getting killed on the interior. It's a mentality that I think that they're trying to reestablish, because when the Warriors were really good mentally, they didn't have any competitors in the NBA. And then, as you guys are alluding to, they got a little sloppy, because they were the bullies on the block. They were the best team. They're not the most talented team in the league. They might have top 12 roster, top 10. I don't know, but they're not the best. They have to really rely on their fundamentals, their shooting, and their overall intelligence. And I think Kerr wants to get back to that.
Yeah, and I like the way Dunleavy's kind of built the team in the offseason with the acquisitions of Anderson and Melton. To me, those
he's horrible.
Two guys that play good defense. Anderson, I like slow-mo. I like his game.
Slow-mo, everywhere he's been, they've got rid of him for a reason. Guys from San Antonio are glad he's not there anymore.
Lou, you are a slow-mo hater, and I want to say this right now. The reason why people have gotten rid of slow-mo is because he can't shoot threes. He has come to the Warriors, and look at his three-point percentage.
Lou, I totally agree with you. This is a guy who has played, this is year 9 or 10?
13, yeah.
There's no such thing as a 10-year bust in the NBA. This guy was drafted with the 27th pick in the NBA.
UCLA.
And I mean, listen, if you look at his plus minus ratio in the preseason, I don't even look at stats. I just watch the game. Listen, this guy can run the Warriors
I love
offense.
Slow-mo.
They can, I mean, and never shoot.
He's a mini Draymond.
Never shoot and play defense. No, I mean, listen, he's an asset, Lou.
He's an asset because
he's going to win Lou over. I love it.
No,
I want to be on when Lou says I'm wrong.
Know what the Frank,
I want to be on when Lou says I'm wrong.
He had a chance to play with a freak that's
Hold on, Ryan.
In 10 years we're going to say he's the best player maybe to ever play in the NBA to come to the Warriors. You know, and again, I'm a big fan of of Moody. I love Moody. I don't know what happened to him because the last 3 years, if you take Steph out, the most consistent players were Moody when he played. He always did a great job. He always came in. His plus minus was always plus. And I love Looney. You know, now it's just a lot of adjusting, you know, and I think the one thing we're not really talking about, the Warriors finished 10th last year in the West. Do we have a better team? We're not going to move up 5 spots.
Yep.
I think this team's better. I think it's better. It's a better,
this is a way better team, dude. This is a way better team.
What makes this team better this year is there's more cohesiveness, and there seems
way
to be,
more cohesiveness.
And guys, we only had 4 preseason games.
Yeah, but
Lou, why does that matter to you?
They're 5.
Why does that matter?
It's actually 5. But here's the thing, Lou.
Okay, well, do you remember last year they were 4-1 in preseason? Then what happened?
But this team is.
Lou, Draymond started choking people. That's what happened. He literally beat the shit out of people on the court.
Draymond's had nothing but problems his whole career, but this year
not doing that this season. Yes, no, not every season has Draymond had an issue. Lou, we can go back. We can go pull up the stats right now. Frank
you guys are
knows
making
this.
it like Draymond is 26 years old. He's 34 years old.
Frank.
Okay,
we have a conversation.
Old. He's not a young kid anymore.
This is good.
What's your point, Lou?
You are wrong. Lou,
what's your point, Lou?
Hey, I put money where my mouth is. If Frank wants to make the bet, I'll bet all 3 of you guys.
Here's the deal.
It's not a bet.
I want to go
to
the Cheesesteak Factory. So I'll supplement a gift card to the Cheesesteak Factory for $44. How's that, man?
Yeah,
Frank.
I'll do all 3 of you guys. So if the Warriors win 44 games,
it's good.
I owe these guys Venmos, and I'll get you a Cheesecake Factory.
I love
it. $44 thing. I have no problem.
Okay.
You know, I just think the West is better this year. And I think the Warriors are probably the same or maybe a little bit less.
No, the Warriors top heavy this year. They're not better because Denver's not as good, and the Clippers are not even going to make the playoffs.
Well, I didn't think the Clippers were.
That's why
I think the Warriors are one of 6 teams battling for the last spot of the playoffs.
Lou, we are not going to be battling for the 10th seed again.
We're not. What do you mean we're not? Go put up the teams in the West.
Let me do this.
Right.
Hold on.
You know, Dan, let's pull it up.
In the West.
I'll pull it up here. Hold on here.
And then while we're at it, Frank, what's the name to your YouTube channel?
I mean, the Southwest Division, every team's going to make the playoffs probably. The Spurs are probably going to win 20 more games than they did last year.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the best point guard is Chris Paul, and Chris Paul's going to play about 50 games. That's it. That's it. I mean, they'll be good. I mean, they'll be better. I think San Antonio will probably win between 35 and 37 games.
Okay.
And they'll challenge, but they're not making the playoffs this year. I can't see it.
Okay, here's the teams right here. There's the 3 divisions, 5 teams. We've done this once. We'll do it again. First team out, Portland. Okay. We're breaking down, you know, it's Miss Universe, and the 15th runner-up is Portland. 14th is Utah. Those happen to be the Warriors' first 2
I remember
games.
Utah last year, until they had 2 injuries, were a playoff team. So I'm just pointing that out.
Yeah, they'll fade though. I knew they were going to fade. Okay, so I got Portland and Utah out, and then I think you look at San Antonio as the 3rd team out.
I think you look at the Clippers because what's his name might not even play this year.
Houston as a fourth team out, and the Clippers.
Houston, fourth team out. Do you watch the Rockets?
They're going to the Rockets are going to finish 11th or 12th.
They're good.
They're
Houston,
good.
God,
the West is loaded.
Come on, you got to watch basketball.
Houston,
is unbelievable.
Listen. All these teams are close.
Yeah, they're all close.
The difference is from the neck up. And when I look at Phoenix, I don't trust Phoenix from the neck up.
I agree there, but you don't know what you're getting with
I don't trust New Orleans from the neck up. I don't. Memphis is a team you need to worry about, but I don't really trust them from the neck up. I mean, Zach Edey is a freaking monster. I don't know what people were thinking when it's like, this guy can't play in the league. I was like, are you punch drunk? Have you seen this kid dominate college basketball? I mean, I'm not surprised by how well he's playing. Now, there'll be injuries, and again, the games are decided the last 4 minutes. And if you look at the Warriors should have been 3-1 against OKC last year. 3-1. They gave those games away.
Yep.
And OKC was more talented. But the Warriors, from a mental perspective, will be able to bewilder a lot of teams. I mean, the Warriors, I know it's only preseason, but there's no way in hell the Warriors should have beat Sacramento twice in the preseason. It's embarrassing. But therein lies coaching. Therein lies mental preparation and execution. And I think if we were just going off talent and rosters, I would say the Warriors would probably be, at the play-in level. But they have a great coach, and they have veterans who know how to play, and they're the best passing team in the NBA. And I think that's going to propel them to have more success this year than they had last year. They're not the most talented team by a long stretch, right. But I think they'll be top 6. I do think they will.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a challenge. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, between 4 and 10, like you said, Frank, they're all right there, but it's at the head up. Who can play? We know, barring any crazy injuries, you can pretty much lock in the OKC, Minnesota, and Denver in the top 6. Whether they should finish top 3 in some order, but when you get to 4, I mean, you're looking at possibly Sacramento. You could have the Lakers. You could have Dallas.
Right.
You could have Phoenix. Yeah. I mean, it's really crazy. I mean, Memphis is very, like you said, talent-wise, Memphis is good.
They are.
And with Ja back, but, is Ja going to be Ja? Or is he going to be, it's kind of like with the Warriors and Draymond. Is Ja going to keep his head straight and focus on basketball? Because if he does, look out. He could carry them. He's a guy that can, to me, pound for pound, when I watch the games and I see Ja Morant in his zone, pound for pound, he might be the best player in the league. Because
it's going to come down to coaching.
That's an extremely hard take.
It is. It's an extreme take, but when he's on, who could stop the guy?
Now, he's a talented guy, but it's going to come down to coaching. And that's why, Kerr can be a prick. And that's an endearing quality as a coach, because you got to make tough decisions. You got these young millionaires who think that the world revolves around them, and some of them just resist coaching. And you got to have coaching at that level because they're so good. I saw a stat tonight. Guess what? The Houston Rockets, with all of their injuries, they improved by 19 games last year. Know why? Because Ime Udoka will get with you. He don't care who you are. He will get in your face and say, listen, we're going to do it like this. I don't care who you are. Is Ja Morant's coach going to do that to him? Is JJ Redick going to tell Anthony Davis, I need you to get 5 effing more rebounds a game? I mean, that's what it comes down to. Kerr will do it. The only person Kerr will walk lightly with against it's Stephen Curry, and he'll still get his point across, but he ain't gonna disrespect Stephen Curry. He's not gonna do that. But anybody else, Curry's gonna coach, and we saw that this summer in the Olympics. Curry's the only coach who would have benched Tatum. Nobody else would have did that, but it was the right decision.
Yeah, it was, and it's interesting how much Tatum's taken that personally. I get it. You know, you're the NBA champion. You're one of your first team All NBA, and you're not playing in the Olympics. But the way the teams they were playing, and the style that Kerr wanted to play, it just didn't fit a couple of those teams for Tatum to be on the court.
Totally agree with that. I mean, it's easy for Kerr to coach LeBron. It's easy for Kerr to coach Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry. So again, this is the most competitive NBA that I've ever seen in my life. I've been watching basketball a long time, like all you gentlemen have. And I'm so excited because, you win 48, 49 games. That's equivalent to winning like 55 games. That's how tough it is.
Yeah, now, yeah.
It's tough.
What does that make the Warriors 2016 season? I mean, they fell a game short in the finals, but think about that. 73 wins and 9 losses. That's
nuts.
Insane.
It is.
That's like insane. 73 wins. And the fact that they came within a whisker. I mean, Andre Iguodala doesn't have whatever he had, a hamstring issue or whatever he was dealing with. He's slamming that. LeBron's not blocking that.
How about just say if Draymond just played?
Yeah, let's just
it would never came to that.
True, but
yeah. Real quick, let's just get to a couple of chat comments because we had about 40 come in while you guys were talking. Griffin, the Suns can implode. I agree. I think a few people mentioned that, and then the other one I like.
Second year with the big three. First year adjusting, so just remember that.
Wow, 8 or 9 seed.
This is what Nate Dogg thinks, and then we had another one.
I like Tatum can renounce it.
He doesn't carry
just for some fun. But anyways, yeah, we appreciate this.
What do you guys think of this? I think generally this is true. Shea is greater than Ja. He's more
I think Ja's a better player than Shea.
But I think Ja, when he's on, I don't think Ja, when he's like in his zone, he takes over a game. And why I said pound for pound, because what is Ja?
6'3".
6'3", can jump through the moon, but he's a freak. I don't
think his game is sustainable. I think like 10 years, 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing about him, and this is going to be interesting to watch. Edie could be one of the dominant centers in the league, but he clogs up the middle, and Ja doesn't have those driving lanes. So it's going to be interesting to see how teams play them. With Edie, teams are going to play a lot of zone against Memphis. And it's going to be interesting to see if they can adapt their style of play, because I don't know if Ja has really improved his jump shot. And that's the one bugaboo that I think he needs to get a handle on, because the game can pass you by. He kind of reminds me, he's a better player, but he reminds me of Steve Francis. Steve Francis' 7 years in the NBA were exceptional, but the league adjusted to Steve Francis.
Yeah, I don't think Ja's sustainable. I think you're right. I don't think his career. What is this going to be for?
He has to shoot
year 5,
7%. Well, it's like 4 or 5. He got to get his 3-point shot up. He has to. It's going to be a struggle.
I got 2 comments, Dan. One is Ja's got to get his mind in the game.
Right.
Okay, that's more important than anything about his ability. But Frank, what I wanted to ask you is, what do you think about Minnesota? I thought that trade was wise, and I think they're a better team now.
Talent-wise, they're really good.
They're not.
And I got to see them in the last 4 minutes.
Better for the Knicks.
Yeah, because when I look at those guys, I don't see leaders that people
Right.
rally around. I
Right.
see Anthony Edwards as just a phenomenal talent. He could win MVP this year. But, I don't see the reverence that the Warriors players have for their top players. I just don't see that. I mean, and, Julius Randle is there for one thing, to get a contract. Winning is important, but he's there to show Minnesota and the league that I'm worth $150 to $200 million.
Yeah.
That sometimes conflicts with focusing on winning the championship. Mike Conley, you would assume, is going to get worse. Rob Dillington, it's going to take him some time. I think that they could be a 4th or 5th seed, as talented as they are. As talented as they are, because they lost, in my opinion, one of the stable guys in Cat. And Cat wasn't the best leader, but he was a guy who they liked. The team
he was a solid piece.
All right, I got a question for you guys. I want you to go around the room here, and we'll start to my, I guess it'd be my left here now, because it's my right that I'm looking at, but on screen it'd be over to Ryan. Who's the one player the Warriors need to push to get them over the top to championship contender?
I think it's a combination of one of the two. Either one is fine. Wiggins or Kuminga. I think Kuminga either needs to do what.
No, I mean, what player are they missing that's on another team that they need to go out and get? That they need to go out and get to because I don't think they're a championship team right now, but they have the nucleus of the pieces that they can add. So who's the one player that they need to add at the trade deadline if they're in this thing that can push them to the top?
I think that's
honestly the trade deadline's rough because
it is. It's always wild. You never know what can happen.
I'll talk about who I wanted to get because I honestly don't have an answer for this right now. But I wanted to get DeJounte Murray, and maybe Frank or Lou knows of someone, or you even, who knows of someone who's a two-way guard. Or, so the reason why I wanted DeJounte Murray is because I thought
they need another two-way guard. I mean, they're just like they're coming out of the woodworks.
But DeJounte Murray averages 23 a game, Dan. He's a second scorer. I think he's a lot better than Klay was last year.
One guy they can't get. That guy is Lauri Markkanen. And I'm glad that they didn't get him before he signed his contract. Because, I thought that could have caused some problems. But now that he has a contract, and I was talking to somebody on Twitter yesterday, and he did a great job explaining to me, because of the August 7th deadline, he can't be traded for the entire year.
Correct.
Otherwise, he could have been traded after 6 months.
Yeah,
I think he would have been a vital piece for the Warriors. The other piece that I would like to see them get, and I don't think they're going to give him up, is I would love to see them go out and get Mitchell Robinson from the Knicks. I think he would change the complexity of the team, and that interior defense that they don't have, they would have it with him. The Knicks are not going to give him up, but I would love to see him as a kind of a rental guy for the Warriors. I think you help him.
Okay. No, honestly, I think what Dan talked about recently is the most realistic trade that we can make that will actually make an impact. Dan, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I can't. Which one was that?
On Portland, he's a Portland center.
I don't know if I like that.
He's not going to take much. He's not going to take much.
What are you talking about?
Ayton?
No way. No.
Yeah, I don't think he fits. I don't think he fits the team.
I mean, I know his agent, so I don't want to talk real bad about him. But but I will say this. I have to be honest.
What about Vucevic? That's who I wanted to get.
Vucevic. Oh no.
Vucevic, Nikola Vucevic.
No.
I think he's a better backup than Looney.
He can't pass. So the Warriors' offense is predicated on that high pick and roll. Vucevic, he's done well in Chicago. He really has. But he's too stiff for the Warriors. I mean, he's not a lob threat. Ayton, from a talent perspective, is really talented. But I think if you talked about basketball IQ on the level of 1 to 10, Aiden's probably a 6.
What do you think about this guy? I also thought about him in my wheelbarrow.
Kelly's good, but I don't know if he's going to take it to the next level.
Who?
Right here. Right. Who? Can you see the screen?
Oh, Kelly Olynyk is a plus. Oh, yeah. Nice pickup. He'd be a nice pickup. He really would be.
And Ryan, you can wear his headband that he wears.
Yeah, I think anybody who's big right now, I'd be interested
I like
in
that
listening
name.
to.
I like Kelly Olynyk because he's a realistic possibility to me. Can shoot the three, can pass, tough defender, gives 100%, smart, good mixer. That's a good name. That's a really good name.
Yeah, I mean, guys, so what do you think?
We're going to have to give somebody. Everyone keeps talking.
I'm ready.
Nobody wants Wiggins. With his mental problem right now, you can't trade Wiggins to anybody.
Lou, we don't have to trade Wiggins. Frank, I mean, so I guess this is a good topic real quick to cover on before.
No, I'm just saying if we're going to get a quality guy to take it to the next level, we're probably going to have to trade Wiggins and a Kuminga or Kuminga and somebody else.
I think it's predicated on Lou. I think it's predicated on how well Wiggins plays. Wiggins has so much talent that people are willing to give him a new shot every year, and especially when you consider some of the family trauma that he was going through.
Yeah,
I mean, I think people give him the benefit of the doubt because they like him. He's a good guy. He's a good teammate.
I don't trust Canadians in the NBA. No, I'm kidding. Since he's a Canadian. I'll tell you the thing.
What?
Go ahead, Lou.
Mother Nature.
Where's Lou?
We got to stay healthy.
Yes.
We need everyone to come back. We talk about Peyton. If Gary Payton Jr. last year, if he doesn't get injured, that was probably 3 or 4 wins that we probably would have gotten. I think he's very crucial. He's our best defender. He is an inspiration, a spark that sometimes we miss. I think Mother Nature, and we got to stay healthy because if we have any of these guys go down, we're below 500.
And he wants more money. This is last of his contract, so he didn't get hurt this year. Watch. He wants a new contract from somebody.
100%, Frank. I'm with you on that.
What do you guys think is the Warriors' pressing need? Is it a big man who can be a
second scorer
protector, or is it the second scorer to complement
second scorer?
Okay, because if you were going to go the big man route, a guy that might be available at some point is Jared Allen from Cleveland, because they may put Mobley in the full-time 5 spot, and Cleveland, it didn't work the way Minnesota thought it would with Twin Towers, and it works in the regular season with Cleveland, and it works in the regular season with Minnesota. But when you get into the playoffs, for some reason, not working. I don't know. Jared Allen might be a guy that you could grab as that piece to fill that role. But if you're looking for that number 2 scorer, I think you got to look at teams that implode in the first half, like a Phoenix, maybe, like KD. Like if Phoenix gets off to a bad start and it looks like they're not going to make the playoffs, that owner down there bought that team to win a championship. And he ain't winning it. I think he'll figure out pretty soon after 50 games, he's not winning a championship.
Yeah, everybody said they want to win a championship, and then reality sets in.
Yeah,
and then they go to the ATM machine and realize that they got a viable business. I mean, the KD angle is nice, but I don't see that happening. I think that's done. And KD's salary is crazy. He makes a lot of money. He deserves it.
3 players.
Yeah, so I don't see that happening. Jared Allen, Jared Allen, that's a good name because he has like $100 million contract, but probably about maybe, I don't know, 20, 25 million a year. But I think some people in the Warriors organization feel that Trace Jackson-Davis can be close to that. So,
yeah.
I like some of the young players, and you got to give them an opportunity to develop. If the Warriors I think if they trust Jonathan Kuminga, he might not reach his full potential this year. It might happen next year. The biggest issue with Kuminga is, are they going to pay the guy? That's as simple as that. And they're going to have to make that decision. They don't have Laurie Marketing as a chip anymore. Kuminga's not going to take less than, say, what, 180 million? He's just not going to do it.
Yeah.
So, so now they're kind of stuck, and they're playing this little dance with him. You either believe in him or you're going to trade him. And I think
this is the year they make a decision on Kuminga. At what point do they have to sign him before it's too late? Where they October.
I mean, they don't have to, but I think if they still have up until October something to sign him to an extension. If he goes out, if they don't sign him, he goes out and have a really good year, he's going to ask for more money.
Yeah, because here's the issue I see with Kuminga. An incredible talent. But the reason, and, we've talked about this, with Larry and Cyrus, and I know he's a big Kuminga guy, and I love Kuminga too. I'm a big Kuminga guy. But the one thing people don't realize with Kuminga is he didn't play college basketball.
No, you're right.
And because he didn't play college basketball, he doesn't fit into the flow of the game. And that's why Kerr wouldn't play him. Kerr's not an idiot and is just benching the guy to bench him. He didn't understand the flow of the game and the offense.
Right.
And you can't have a guy out there. You know what it's like, Frank, when there's 5 guys and there's one guy that doesn't know where he's doing.
Yeah, but he's gotten better every year. So
he has.
I think they had a breaking point now where I get Kerr not wanting to play him. But, man, he's a young dude that's going to play 38 to 40 minutes a game. Some of these 8, 9-year-olds that watch television, oh, that's Kuminga. It's a business. So you got to mortgage, the business versus basketball components, so on and so forth. I mean, that's part of the Warriors' decision. They got to look at the business also with Kuminga.
They had to coach him up. They've had to coach him up, and he's now looks like he's, he looks like a guy who's had a couple years of college now, 2-3 years of college.
I agree.
And so he's actually getting better.
Isn't he only 21 still?
He's 22, the same age as Moody.
Yeah. I mean, the guy's a great talent, but the reason I say this year is the big year is they could sign him. Now, if they sign him to an extension, is that the same thing as marketing and he's not tradable then as well?
Yeah, the problem with that, yes, that is true, Dan. Also, the problem with that is he's asking what the Wagner brothers are asking for, and the problem is they got overpaid. So, he's asking for $44 million a year.
How much did he get? What do you think?
How much is he going to get?
No. How much should he get?
How much should he get?
Based on the market.
The NBA.
Yeah, I would say on the market right now that's really overpriced, I would say, I think a 35 for 4 years is fair. So what's 35 times 4?
That'd be 140, sir.
He ain't signing for that. Ain't happening.
Huh?
He's not signing for that.
You think he wants more?
Yeah,
he wants 180.
He wants $40 million. And
I don't think the Warriors are giving him. My point is, I think the Warriors are at a max of 35 a year.
They're going to lose him then. They're going to trade him or they're going to lose him because here's the deal. Normal people like us look at these numbers and we laugh. But then when you look at the business revenue of the NBA, you got to throw logic out the window.
Oh, yeah.
Because the numbers, the value of these organizations, the jerseys, no owner, and I'm being cynical, but should any owner make as much money as these people make to own a basketball team? I mean, without the players, there's no team.
They make $1 billion just from China, not even the United States.
Yeah,
$1 billion.
So
I don't know.
World, he's worth it. In this crazy world we live in, he's worth it.
It's crazy. Patrick Mahomes must be going, why didn't I play basketball? Jonathan Kuminga is going to make more money than Patrick Mahomes, the best player in the game.
Are you sure Kuminga is actually worth it?
I don't. I think Kuminga, my max Lou is $40 million a year for Kuminga.
But why? I understand $40 million is not much in the NBA, but you really think he's worth it?
I do.
No.
I think he's worth 40. Because listen, he's going to be here longer than Stephen Curry. Who are the fans going to come watch? Even the
not Kuminga.
Yes, they are.
I don't know. With Dunleavy in charge, I'm not sure. I think they might close down Chase Arena.
I'm not. No, I love the Warriors. I'm not buying a Kuminga
You're
jersey.
funny, Lou. Yeah. But some 8-year-old in Walnut Creek is.
No, I'm with you. I think he's definitely worth signing because the franchise is big. But I'm with Lou that these contracts are getting crazy.
And I'm not even saying the contract. I'm just, this is the year he better step up and be the number 2 player because I'm sick and tired. I've been hearing about this guy for 3 years. It reminds me of the Giants. Oh, all these guys in the minors are
Lou. He's produced. Tell
me what he's produced with the Warriors. Tell me.
Pull up his stats last year, Dan. Pull it up.
He's been with us since his 4th year or 3rd year?
But last year's the first year he actually got playing time.
Let me tell you this right now. If the Warriors want to move Kuminga, even after signing him, they can move him. Chicago would love Jonathan Kuminga. There are teams out there that would love this guy.
Speaking of Chicago, what do you think about making a trade for Zach LaVine? If things look tough in the first half of the season, I would. You're not a favor.
Sitting aside, I can see him being in Sacramento, but I don't want non-defenders making that kind of money. I just don't. Is he a good player when he's healthy? Yes, he is. But he doesn't think anything's wrong with his game.
Look at this jump.
That's nuts.
He shot 32%. Is that possible?
He shot 32% from 3-point range. He averaged 16.1.
Who did?
Kuminga.
But look at
the second half of the year.
Game,
he shot higher.
Dan, look at the game started and then look at the minutes played.
Yeah, he's up to 26 minutes a game.
That's nothing for 16
46
points.
Games started. He did shoot almost 53% from the field from under, inside the 3-point line.
Yeah, because most of the shots are driving layups.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
He got to the free throw line more than most of the team, more than even Steph, I bet. I bet if you looked at Steph's stat, I don't even know. Most of Steph's free throws come with the last 2-3 minutes when they're fouling, when the games are ahead.
You think the Lakers wouldn't do anything to get Jonathan Kuminga? They would love him. You think the Lakers wouldn't pay him $40 million a year? They do it in a second.
Yeah, but you got to remember, for us to pay 40, because I'm always thinking, what are the Warriors going to be without Steph? Is this a guy that could lead them to a playoff without Steph?
No, he's not. But he is a person that people know, and they'll come out and they'll watch. And it's up to the organization to rebuild the team. I don't know if he'll ever be the best player on a legit team. I'm not saying that he will. And like Dan said, it's almost inconceivable to think that somebody with that little basketball knowledge could ever ascend to that level. He's not a 7-footer, but I watched him tonight. He is the quintessential wing player with size. He's kind of like a Cooper Flag without the IQ in a lot of ways. He's perfect. He's 6'8", 6'9", high flyer, good-looking guy running the court. It's entertainment. That's what it is until you become good. And then it's time to win. I don't know if the Warriors going to be in that situation post Stephen Curry without rebuilding the team. You don't want them to be Brooklyn.
No, I agree there. I just, this is the year. He tried to impress me. That's all I ask.
Right.
Because like I said, I'm very worried with Dunleavy in charge.
He's done all right. So what don't you like? What grade would you give him?
I thought they're too. I thought the two guys they picked up, safe and soft. Neither guy to me, I think, is going to really bring us to the next level.
Wow.
You know, I'm not a Kyle Anderson fan. And then you got a guy who's on his, fourth team, who supposedly can shoot lights out. Then why is he on his fourth team? He couldn't make it at Sacramento.
No. The Buddy Hield's the third guy. The two biggest acquisitions are DeAnthony Milton.
And I like Milton.
Yeah. So, I mean, start there. I mean, Milton is a guy who helps your team immediately. And Kyle Anderson, I mean, man. I mean, he's the 8th or 9th player on your team who can start. Not many 9th players on the NBA team that are decent can start and actually play well.
I just think the Warriors need more. I mean, I love Melton. I think his defense is solid. I'm just worried about his offense. You know, I'm really worried.
He can catch and shoot. He's going to really do well with the Warriors. He's going to get better shots because of movement.
All right.
Philly's offense was very similar to Dallas. High pick and roll, throw the ball inside, go stand in the corner. Milton looks, he looks pretty damn good in the preseason right now.
Preseason, we'll see regular season. I agree. I like him. I think he's a good pickup. I'm just not a fan of the other two. So,
how good can Trace Jackson-Davis be?
I was never a fan of him at Indiana. I didn't like the pick.
Really?
He sort of impressed me.
Okay.
But I thought there were other people when he played in the Big Ten that sort of showed him around. I thought he was this guy that had a very high ceiling. I think when I saw him play at Indiana, which is, of course, different than with the Warriors.
Right.
I saw him play against Arizona. He got destroyed. I think he's a step slow for a center. I think, hopefully he improves this year. I thought the biggest problem with the Warriors last year is our youth. We sort of had to throw them in because we had to. But I'm not a big I was never a big fan of our guard, who I thought shot too much. I mean, I loved his charges, which, I think he was number 2 in the league. But right. I thought he took too many threes. When you're a point guard, assists.
I think what I hear from you is he took too many threes that he didn't make.
No, that he shouldn't have taken.
Well, I mean, I've never seen a bad shot that goes in. Never. And he didn't make enough shots. And based on his skill set, he has to be a 38 to 40% three-point shooter, because all those other intangibles that he brings to the table are not worthy when you're on the court that much and you're not producing points.
As soon as he missed, I didn't like him. The defense, I thought it was a little weak. But, it was his first year, so I'm giving him another chance.
Okay.
It's always first year in the NBA. You got to remember, most of these guys, when they're drafted, they're the best player on their team. It takes so much adjusting to go from being a great college player to being an NBA player. It's such a huge difference. It's like going from 8th grade to play varsity right away. Only a few can do it. So...
is a barometer.
I think being a Warrior fan, we've been so spoiled. We have been so spoiled of what we've had the last 10 years.
I'm a Knicks fan, so feel for me.
Man,
Warriors or Porzingis?
I'm sorry?
Who are you a fan of?
The Knicks.
The Knicks.
Oh, the Knicks.
Come on, man.
What do you think of the fact that Porzingis is now? I mean, he still gets hurt, but he's playing great with the Celtics.
I love it for him. Hey, he seems like a pretty good guy. I thought he got a bad rap in Dallas. I think that was more Luka than him. And, he went to an organization that didn't ask him to do more than he could do. Even though he was hurt in the finals, he played good basketball for Boston, and he put together a couple of good years in Washington. So
he got a ring.
I like Porzingis. I do.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah, the unicorn. There he is. So, well, Frank, tell us about your channel. What you're doing? I know you're
Frank. Yeah. I don't mean it, but I like it when you have two different visions. Me and Dan, we butt heads occasionally, but Giants fans, we're always on the same side. So I like that you're a super big Warrior fan. I'm just a fan with a little bit different opinion, so I like us going back and forth. And I
love the back and forth. It's great content.
I like to do it, midway through the season. And if I'm wrong, I will admit, And I know if you're wrong, you go, Lou, you're right, but there's still 2/3 of a season.
Yeah, no. Listen. Yo, Lou, this is nothing but fun. I got
No, of course.
Lou, you're gonna be wrong.
You know what? I have, and I'm sure there's some of the people listening now that kind of check me out every now and then. Because I don't really promote my show, and I have the technology skills of an ant, my numbers have not increased at the rate that they probably would have. But what's exciting is my engagement is off the charts. It really is. I have really high engagement. People who tune in, they tune in. I'm not really on social media beyond X. So I'm looking forward to exploring some of these other opportunities because my focus is on content. And I have very, very strong content. And I also, like this show, there's a certain level of I think integrity and humanity that we stick to. And I love that. I do movie reviews. I'm a movie guy. I'm a writer. I've written movie scripts. And it's a lot of fun. And I've been very consistent on Sunday nights. So you see it on the screen. It's the In the Dungeon show. You could follow me at Big Frank Red on X, Twitter. And we have a lot of fun. And like you, I enjoy varied opinions. I enjoy varied opinions about everything. And I'm a hip hop head. I'm an artist also. So music intersects with sports. We're able to talk about that in an intelligent way. I've been a coach for 20 years. I played, as Dan said, I played at a very high level and played against great players. So I know the game of basketball. I know all sports, but it's just fun, man. It's fun. And if people want to check me out.
Yeah, I've checked you out a couple of times because Dan's nice enough to tell us, hey guys, we're finishing.
Yeah.
Go over and see Big Frank. And that helps.
I appreciate it, Dan.
Yeah.
Thanks, my guy.
Frank.
Yes, sir.
Can we play your song on the way out of here?
Absolutely. I gave you the license.
All right. We got it. Hold on here. Let me get it set up here.
Everybody go to Spotify and play it.
I'm going to play it off YouTube, right? Can I play it off YouTube, Brian?
Yes.
All right.
Make you feel.
I got it. I got it ready, guys. Hey, go check out Frank's show. We're going to be back here tomorrow night. We'll do a little wrap on the Dodgers Mets. Let's go Mets. Let's go Mets, baby. We hate LA here, NorCal. So we're going Mets. So we will do a Mets Dodgers little post-game action tomorrow night about 8:30. So look for that. And then we'll let you know where we'll be the rest of the week. And then go check out Frank's show, In the Dungeon show. And then on Twitter, he's right at Big Frank Red.
There you go.
Big Frank Red, R-E-D, not two D's like Michael Red, the lefty.
No.
Okay. One D.
One D. And one D and no spaces.
There we go.
Thanks for having me, Dan. I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah. And hey, guys, we're gonna this is a song. You go ahead and introduce the song, Frank, and tell us about it. What was behind the song, and then we'll play it on the way out. It's about a little over 3 minutes.
The song is called "Make You Feel." I have like 4 songs on all platforms: Spotify, Apple, YouTube. But "Make You Feel" has been my most popular song, and basically, it's a song of triumph about kind of looking at life and maybe being at your lowest point, and then seeing a bright side and understanding that your real purpose in life is not what you can do for yourself, but what you can do for others. So it's a pretty inspirational song. People like it. I'm very proud of it. And, people check it out.
All right, guys, here it is. Frank Red, how the song is called Make You Feel. Here it is.
All right.
You miss your shot at life, you think there's nothing else for you to do. This ain't a tragedy, son, I know I've seen a few. You're not responsible for somebody else's thrill. Your integrity's intact and you're still trying to climb the hill. I was a lonely man. I never thought it would come true. But sometimes in life, all you have are your dreams and you. That's when you realize that life ain't standing still. And all you can do is bow your head and accept God's will. But it's funny how it makes you feel. I said it's funny how it makes you feel. I said it's funny how it makes you feel. Life is but a thrill. You have no time for small talk. He didn't mince words, just sum the lyrics to the best song he ever heard. All his hopes and dreams had turned to despair. But what he was facing, there was no way to prepare. This came from a man who thought his life was ending. In his mind, it was serious. There was no pretending. He checked the clock on the wall before he said his goodbyes. Emitting tears, he has gone. See back into his eyes. He was told that life there'll be no encore. He raised his hands to the heavens, put his knees on the floor. Don't have to be a genius to know he'd been blessed. He said he'd pay it forward and always do his best. At that moment, what he's been searching for became clear. He was here to serve those who live in fear. With this newfound enlightenment in the wind at his back, he's prepared to live out his life's final act. He was a rich man now. He had purpose in life. And to capture this feeling, you don't pay a price. Before he set up on his own, he made a pledge to get some wins and live his life against the grain to the bitter end. You miss your shot at life. You think there's nothing else for you to do. This ain't a tragedy, son. I know I've seen a few. You're not responsible for somebody else's thrill. Your integrity's intact and you're still trying to climb the hill. I was a lonely man. I never thought it would come true. But sometimes in life, all you have are your dreams and you. That's when you realize that life ain't standing still. And all you can do is bow your head and accept God's will. But it's funny how it makes you feel. I said it's funny how it makes you feel. I said it's funny how it makes you feel. Life is but a thrill. Life is just a thrill. How it makes you feel. 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 Yeah, yeah.
Everybody who added the song, thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. Good night, everybody.